Now, owning a small business is perhaps one of the most rewarding things you can do. But at the same time, the challenges you'll face can many times feel overwhelming. According to a new study conducted by Mental Health UK, 4 in 5 small business owners report experiencing common symptoms of poor mental health. The pandemic has made this even more acute, with business owners reporting panic attacks and symptoms of depression. In fact, in this study, 86% of female business owners reported poor mental health. May being the month of Mental Health Awareness Week, we had the last week as a Mental Health Awareness Week. Dr.Geetha Jaganthan, who's my friend and an NHS Consultant Psychiatrist, is here to share and guide us on how to achieve the best mental health. Dr. Geetha, over to you.
Thank you so much. I'm just going to use a little slideshow. Hello, everyone. As I was introduced, I'm Geetha Jaganthan. I am a consultant psychiatrist. I work in NHS Northwest. And I would like to start off by, on a positive note, to say, if a woman can't, then who else will? So, hey, to all women. And, congratulations to all of you for doing such a great work. And I feel very happy to be part of it, although it's a very small part. So I've been asked to talk on more than $1 million question as to how to manage stress in a very short time of 5 minutes. So no pressure, no stress at all for me today. What is stress? I'm going to use this short time to keep it very simple, because this is a huge topic and we can talk for hours and days, but I'm going to keep it to very simple tips. I want to focus on what is stress, what is within normal limits, and where does it cross the line of where you need help by somebody else, and how can you access help. I hope that helps. So stress, like anxiety, it's all pretty normal. All of us go through it. In fact, our body is designed to experience it and overcome it. And that is just part of learning and part of growing and part of moving forward. And it happens to everyone, so it's not unique for anyone. So if you feel stressed, that doesn't mean you're not coping. That just means you've just put yourself to a bit of challenge. It could be a new experience, it could be an unfamiliar grounds, or it could be something unexpected that has come about, or there is a sense of a threat in a situation. So we all feel stressed when we feel a bit out of control within that situation. That doesn't mean you're not coping. And we all deal with our stresses very differently. And I just want you to focus that anything that goes beyond our control, that feels a little bit, stressful. So I want you to remember this, because that's where the management comes in. And sorry, the slide is not very clear here, but I just want to focus a little bit on this. So all of us have certain amount of vulnerability because of genetic reasons, because of how we were brought up and what we saw when we grew up. So there is some intrinsic vulnerability to all of that. And then we all experience different kinds of problems in our lives related to work, finances, social stuff, relationships, and all of that. And then some of us will experience some kind of mental illness like depression and psychosis and a lot of other things. So all these things put together, I think everything is at a higher level than we either become ill or we remain well. So that all these things together, it tip us into one way or the other. And I want you to, it's always good to have a visual representation of things so that you can stick it to your head in this brief time. So I just want you to imagine a bucket. So stress is nothing but like a bucket of water. So a lot of things, you keep pouring water into the stress buckets, which adds up to the stress. And our bucket size, it varies to all of us, depending on a number of factors. And if you imagine pouring stress into it via different kinds of problems that we face, how much can a bucket hold? And what happens when the bucket overflows? It becomes really uncontrollable for all of us. So as part of the management, what we need to try and do is this. I just want you to remember this picture. This is only a black and white picture, but it's really very, very effective. So what we need to do is just put holes in the buckets. So you release the pressure, and so your capacity of your bucket increases. So even if you add more stress on it, it comes out. But when you're putting holes, there are different ways of coping. So some could be a bad way of coping that adds to the stress. It comes back again. So, for example, people using alcohol to cope and probably doing things that you know it's not good for you, but you still keep doing because it gives a bit of relief for you at that time. So it adds to the stress eventually. But good coping mechanisms, for example, like exercise, seeing friends, doing something that's enjoyable for you, music, or just talking to someone who you trust, those kind of things can help relieve things. And also taking a step back, reflect on what you do. I want all of you who feel stressed or you want to address something, I want you to draw your own stress buckets and think of what all adds to the stress of your bucket and what does it look like. So what could be your holes to release that in a good way, and what are your strengths in terms of what could you access on a day-to-day mechanism. This is how you manage stress normally. And as I said, a lot of things here, holes could be a lot of positive stuff, and I cannot stress enough that what we eat directly affects how we react to stuff and how our mental strength is. So please focus on that as well. And again, that is a huge separate topic on its own. But when does stress become anxiety or goes into depression, where you need probably professional help? When it lingers on long enough, that affects your ability to function on a day-to-day basis, and that persists. And the symptoms are the same, and it's part of a normal spectrum. All of us will experience all of this at any one point in time. But when it lingers longer, that it affects your functioning at a level where you can't sleep, where you can't do your day-to-day stuff, you're withdrawn from the rest of the society, you can't talk to your friends, you're not even able to enjoy the things that you normally enjoy, those kind of stuff. And the symptoms I've mentioned earlier as before, so you feel like increased muscle tension, irritability, difficulty sleeping, feeling tired and restless. And depression, again, the same things, but you're feeling low in your mood as well, and probably sleep and your appetite and your interest in your eating goes. You might lose weight. And if you do need help within those symptoms, I think this is probably going to be the most helpful stuff here for people. And if you want to make a note of it, or I can share these slides with you. The ones on the left-hand side, those are the self-help stuff. These are really nice websites, and there are a number of booklets in the last two websites. There are a number of self-help booklets that you can actually read. And if you want to talk to someone and actually get help from other people, more than the self-help stuff, then things are all on the right. So you could call 111 and ask for help and support. Helpline, there are plenty of helplines available. There could be something locally available over there in any institutions that you work for. Or talk to your GP, who can then refer you to the mental health services if need be. If you do not want to talk to GP, do not want 111, but you need some support just to kind of counseling and coping with stuff, you can refer yourself to something called IAPT, which is a primary care psychological service. If you want, you can just self-refer yourself and ask, I need somebody to talk to about these things, and I don't know what kind of help I would definitely need. But it's more alongside the talking therapies rather than medications, that kind of stuff. Then they can assess you and they can refer you to counseling or different levels of higher levels of therapy differently. So these are all the ways that you can access help if need be. And that's about it. It's a brief, short and hopefully helpful information for all of you. But if anybody needs more information, or if you want to contact me directly, it's just my first name dot surname at mercycare.nhs.uk, which I can pass on the contact details if need be, or contact your local GP.
Thank you. Thank you. It's amazing. Let's give a big applause to Dr. Geetha Jaganthan.